IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए. The language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. Yeah, it's Cider Says, which is now, as you know, Cock and Bull, Monday morning. And for me, this is a very auspicious occasion. It's like the birth of a new baby because I've got new lights. You can't see it, but in a sense, you can see it because the lights are high. So obviously, if you look down from where your camera is and look upwards, you may be able to see it. I don't know much about tech, but try. But it's up there somewhere and it's lit me properly. Even my bald patch is now exposed, as you can see right there. So I'm feeling more complete and holistic. I feel that we've cheated the paying public. Well, not paying public, but the public, which is paying in a sense for watching this show for too many years. Now you get to see the real thing. It's almost like when you go to Africa and you go to, say, the Serengeti or Masai Mara or whatever, and you're looking for animals and they're very far away. You see a giraffe far away and you admire the giraffe, but you can't enjoy it. But now the giraffe is here. You're looking at the giraffe clearly. He's close to your Jeep. You can almost pet the giraffe. Don't do it because they can be highly aggressive and they have long necks and big teeth and they kick really hard. They can break a Jeep in two. But this is not about that. This is Cock and Bull. We have two experts with us. And I want to go back to the testing times where I asked a very difficult word just to see what kind of understanding of the English language both Antariksh Silvery has and more importantly, Amit, who's quite the erudite spokesperson, likes to use sophisticated slang and whether it's hep phrases or prosaic phrases, likes to come to the party and he's a bit of a show-off.
If you love cricket, listen up. The Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is here for you. Hosted by DJ, Varun, and me, Ashwin, we bring a fun, fresh fan's point of view to talking all things cricket. Sometimes it's just the three of us, sometimes we have guests, including current and former international cricketers. For new episodes every week, check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast on the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So, I need them both to come on screen so I can see that there's no Googling happening. Guys, for the sake of this bit, can you put your hands up, please? Like you've been, caught in a bank robbery. Yeah, I'm sorry to do this to you. It's infantile, it's juvenile, it's puerile, it's all that. But otherwise, you guys will cheat. Both of you are so quick, it's not fair. So hands up, please. Hands just where we can see them. You can put them on your face also, that's fine.
Okay, all
like
right, here we go.
Smita Sen or whatever, one of those. Yeah, Amit, that expression is ridiculous. It's like some alien. That's where it's like you're holding breasts. What is that?
What this is holding breasts?
And what about the new yogi from Powai? Look at him. He's really into it. Swamiji, kaise ho?
You're more amused by making us put our hands up than the actual question.
Yeah, it's more fun than that. Yeah. But no, okay, it'll take 5 seconds. We've got lots to talk about. Okay, so here's the word. I'm giving it to you. There'll be no hint. Okay, it's a 4-letter word with F, and it's called FUTZ. F-U-T-Z. What does it mean? Yeah. Hands up, Silvery, no cheating.
Okay, no, but I've used the word.
Yeah, can you use it in a sentence?
Yeah, let me use it in a sentence. Oh man, why am I not? I'm struggling with the word. I've used this word.
F-U-T-Z.
F-U-T-Z. Yeah, FUTZ. It's a Jewish word.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his hands are up. Keep your hands up if people will think you're cheating, please, Amit.
No, my hands are up.
Not bad. It comes from a Yiddish slang phrase, which means
it's
the English phrase is similar.
It's not fuck.
No, nothing like that.
It's like it's more of an expressive word than it is a meaning word, right? I mean, like when you say it, you're expressing a thought, right? Like a clusterfuck, right? I mean, like in the sense that it's just like a big mess.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
It's more or less correct because what it actually translates in Yiddish too. I like the fact that your hands have gone down, young man, but obviously you're not cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, it translates in Yiddish to fart about. Literally F-A-R-T, fart about.
Yeah.
And from fart about, the English explanation, which is more correct, is to busy or idle oneself uselessly. Useless idleness or useless busyness, which is actually the same thing, even though they're opposites. So yeah, to fart about, literally. That's the best way to say it. So now use it in a sentence, Silvery, even today with some of your friends. Hey guys, man, don't futz with me. And they'll be like, kya bola? I would never touch you. No, that's not what it means. Okay, that puts us in the mood for today's horrific topics. We've got 250 of them, which are the 5 we'll do.
Yes, sure, correct.
Yes.
So the topic number one, Conan O'Brien, the great Conan O'Brien,
Ah,
my favorite late night talk show host,
mine too.
has finally called it quits after 13
Bro,
years
bro, bro,
of
one second
doing
before you say
his
finally, this is his third quit in a sense. Let's just do the history here for a second.
correct,
And it's
yeah,
very rare. The big names, and he's a big name, the legendary ones, they all generally stay with one show and then fade into the sunset with that, whether this is Johnny Cash
yeah,
downwards. So here he's had the late show, am I right? The 12:30 slot, late
late night with
night,
Conan O'Brien after David
right?
Letterman, he got that.
From 93 onwards. That was
Yeah,
for a long time.
Yeah.
Then he got promoted to the big one, which is the Tonight Show,
yeah,
the Leno show.
replacing Jay
And we
Leno.
all know the
Yeah,
scandal that happened there.
yeah,
And after 7 months, if I'm not mistaken, he had to quit or he quit.
Can I just
Yeah.
say I'm on Leno's side in that whole fight?
We'll come back to that. We'll come back
Yeah.
to that.
Okay. All right.
Why you on Leno's side? Oh, shall we
Because
segue
I mean,
now?
like, why the fuck should I give up a job here? Why should he give up a job?
Because he already gave
No, why?
retrospect.
Just because Conan wants it means that he should give it.
No, they had come to an agreement. NBC,
That's
Conan
exactly what
and
it
Jay Leno
was.
had. No, let's go back to the before Conan comes on, where they came to an agreement saying after so many years,
yeah,
Jay, he's going to take over the mantle. It's like
yeah,
the next
That's
successor, which he
that,
was okay with. Which he was okay with. And
yeah,
then when the ratings of Conan didn't go up, they are saying that he was calling up NBC all the time and saying, look, the ratings aren't good. Why don't you take me back? They're saying he lobbied for it. That's the big problem.
that's not what
It's not
happened.
like they called him up and said, boss, we're getting rid of him. So he said, tension so cool.
There's a lot of stuff that went on around that, which is why that happened. Well, the main thing that happened was that basically Jay Leno got this 10 p.m. show, right? The 10 p.m.
Right.
show that he got led into local news in all the markets, right?
Right.
And that 10 p.m. show was much lower rated than most of the other shows. Okay.
Right.
And so because of that, the entire idea of like cutting out our 10 p.m. news shows, drama shows, all of that for a talk show at 10 p.m., then go to local news at 11 o'clock, and then Tonight Show at 11:30 did not
Yeah.
work as an idea. So NBC folks made a decision at that point in time that, you know what we'd like to do? Let's bring Leno back from 11:30 to 12, and then let's bring Conan from 12 to 1, and then we'll have the 10 o'clock back with the news thing.
Which was his old slot, more or less.
No, it was 30 minutes earlier.
Conan Singh was, but then after 12, it's not Tonight Show anymore. It's Tomorrow Show.
It's not.
That was
It's
like
not.
the
And
big
I
thing.
understand why Conan didn't want to do it. And my point
Yeah.
is that there is this perception in the world.
Leno became the villain.
Yeah, and he's not a villain. Why?
No,
why?
he's
Why
not
should
the
he
villain.
be
I
a
agree.
villain?
I agree
Yeah,
with that.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you have the opportunity to host the biggest show in the world, essentially that's what the Tonight Show was, right? I mean, like, it's bigger than any other daytime shows. It's huge. It's a huge show. If you have the opportunity to host it, you're going to say no because somebody else wants to do it. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I feel they're behaving like Indians, clinging onto the seat for no reason. Or coming back. I won't mention great corporates who come back after they say they retire. But Indians do it all the time. Why are Americans behaving like Indians? Florida, their buildings collapsing because of structural integrity. Indian behavior. Something is going wrong with America at its core. And why are we futzing about? Is it okay to say futzing? I'll have to check that because futz is okay.
Yeah, now, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Please use it throughout the show, guys, so we feel very,
Yes.
super smart. Okay, sorry. Coming back to the sequence of events, we'll leave it there for.
But to Amit's point, though, there's one more thing is what played against Jay Leno, especially, is that when Johnny Carson was retiring and giving the show over to Letterman and Jay Leno, like we were deciding between, that time also, like the whole thing happened where Jay Leno came out looking really bad. He just came out of that looking bad. Yeah.
He came out of that looking bad because there was a book written, which was a hit piece, which turned into a movie, which had such stupid, ridiculous kinds of scenes, like Jay Leno hiding in a closet to overhear people talking about what they're going to do. And it's ridiculous. That
But apparently that's true. That's what they say.
didn't happen like that. I mean, come on, yeah.
Amit, we are all taking a prejudiced viewpoint, a jaundiced viewpoint here on this whole thing, which we don't know. It's a gray area. We don't know exactly what happened. But the point is, most people are saying that he's very political, and in the comic world, and that he lobbied, that he pushed
No.
them to this position, and that the big sap was Conan in that whole thing.
I feel what happened is that
That's why Conan got why is Conan getting all the support? You go through all these comedians from Norm Macdonald downwards, and all of them supported him. Why?
So Norm Macdonald supported Jay Leno as well. He didn't give Conan. He didn't give anything. Bill Burr also supported Jay as well, right? I mean, like, it wasn't that they were.
I don't think that's true.
No, that is true. I saw both of the. I looked into. I went down this rabbit hole quite deeply because I was just like, again, because the same thing happened in 92, 93, right, with Jay Leno, where again he's getting all this perception, and the reason why he's getting this shit is because it's that when your hero turns, you really get angry at your hero. That's what happened in Jay Leno's case, right? Jay Leno was supposed to be the best comic. Like he
Yeah.
was the sharpest, the smartest, the fastest.
They always say that.
Yeah, like he was the most hardcore of comics. And then when he became the host of
No,
the
that's not true.
yes, it is. Look at his stand up in the 80s
Before he became the anchor.
before he became this. Yeah.
Because once he became the anchor, a lot of futzing about happened.
At that point, he
Yeah.
became broad because now, see, you're different, right? When you're talking to a stand-up comedy audience of a couple of hundred people in a studio or a couple of thousand people in a stadium who have all come to see you, it's much different than running than running the Tonight Show, which is basically a 45-year-old property where everybody falls asleep watching it. So you have to
Correct.
be milk toast. You cannot be
It's
that,
family.
right?
It's like a podcast where
Yeah.
basically we have to be very careful. I want to use
Exactly.
so much more edgy stuff like myself naked and all, which all I've just said no to. All guests should be wearing only underwear, for example. I thought that would just change the.
Did you see? You see, we got 500 likes on that Instagram post making fun of your shirtlessness.
Which Instagram post?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying we did.
which Instagram that you guys put up?
Yeah, I'll have to find it somewhere. I don't know where it is
Yeah.
exactly. I'll look for it, you guys.
Stop futzing around, man. Do real work. This is not real work, guys. The futz is going on. Okay, anyway, listen, we digress. This whole thing will take. This is one story.
correct,
Okay, so let's leave aside who's right or wrong in between Lennon thing. We're saying that he's 3 times come to a crossroad. This is the 3rd time. And he's only about 50 odd, 50, 51 from what I gather. So what is happening
but-
with Conan?
No, he's older than that.
52, 53?
No, I think he's like probably close to 60 at this point.
No. Conan isn't. We were in Harvard together. Harvard D'Souza's dance class.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's 58 years old.
58. It says he's 58 years old.
51, 52, 58. Subcontinent mein same hota na.
Oh, that is
Have
fine.
you ever played under 19 with the North Indian boys? It's always the same, yeah. 52, 58, same thing. There's no argument. I think let Silvery.
See, this is what we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about the show is though he had already shortened it from a 1 hour format to about a 30-minute format for the last about
But that wasn't a negative.
6-7 months or so.
Huh.
That wasn't a negative. No. I'm just saying. So he's already been, I think, slowly winding down the show and thinking of new ways to do the show, and that's why he is stopping.
I mean, it's futzing around the middle of the podcast, yeah. My focus is going now. This Manoj Bajpayee, one of the esteemed actors of our generation, is being dragged into a controversy for nothing. As if he has nothing else to do but say, Brocha, shirt pehno, bencho. I'm a family man.
Yeah.
Oh, God, guys. Let's get back to our topic.
Yes.
Yeah, the Conan
Uh.
thing. So the show was already. I think he was already looking for ways to
But
wind down the show.
Silvery, he was not winding down the show. That was a positive move, saying that half an hour will give us better bang for a buck
That's
Yeah.
true.
than a
That
1 hour
was
show.
the initial thought. Yeah, that was the initial
Yeah,
thought.
the initial thought was we're going because the younger audience wants less time consumed, but more energy and whatever. So I don't think that was let's wind down the show. This is
No, yeah,
so
absolutely.
you've come up with the news that because he wouldn't give a hint initially. I've been going through all these farewell Jack Black, etc. and all. He's not really mentioned that he's got plans. He's been saying, "What will I do when I have nothing to do?" And
No.
that
He's
space.
announced already that he's going to re-emerge. The plan is to re-emerge on HBO Max at some point. That's the phrasing he keeps using.
No, he can't
That's
announce
a bit
that.
of a variety
I'd
show.
say it's like a vague.
He's gonna have a
plan. That
variety
means
show.
it's there. Huh?
Yeah, it's definitely there. He signed a deal.
So he's doing his
It's
fourth.
definitely happening.
They're all owned by the same
Yeah,
people.
and-
TBS is owned by HBO.
people,
It's all Time Warner.
Yeah.
So then, what do they make a big deal out of if he's just going to from TBS to HBO in the same family?
He's not on TV every night anymore. Now he's been on TV every night since
He's on cable, but
it's been almost 28 years since he's been on television every night.
no, he was 28.
Yeah, it's
93 he
1993.
started.
Yes, that's 28 years.
Fiasco happened in 2009-10, right?
Yeah,
Somewhere there
But-
in that area.
yeah, but he's been on television every night, 5 nights a week for 25 plus years, 28 years, right? So
Okay, that way. Yeah. Okay.
that is the thing. Now he's going to go to a weekly
Oh,
show,
nights. Huh.
right? So I mean, like that's a different kind of this, right? Altogether.
That's okay. So so it's more like a magazine format with more things happening, little more quality control. It's like our podcast. If we did it once a week, where it would reach, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's just the way we started it.
Yeah. But you guys had to futz it up.
I know.
With your futzing. I hope the meaning is clear. By the end of the show, I want everyone listening to use futz today. When you're eating food and say, hey, stop futzing around, pass the pepper here. Do things like that. Okay, so to end the whole thing, he's leaving, but he's joining.
Let me ask you this though, right? Okay. What's your favorite Conan O'Brien like recurring bit segment, whatever that may be? Is it the interviews or do you like
Masturbating bear.
Okay.
The masturbating bear. I love the idea. That that hemorrhoids cream thing that he used to do with the audience. I don't know if you
Okay.
guys used to see in the earlier years. All the silly ideas, I just love all the
I
silly ideas. Yeah.
I used to love the early days of Conan, right? Like, so there was the thing where he and Andy would sit behind the desk and they'd put a blue screen behind them and then act like they're driving through the city and the
Yeah,
building
I've
and all
seen
that
that.
kind of stuff. I thought that shit was
Yeah.
hilarious. There,
It's in the same genre, yeah.
yeah, there used to be this thing. They had this segment called "In the Year 2000,"
In the year
right? And
2000. Love that. Yeah.
it was insane. They did it up to I think they 2005 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I thought the Conan remotes were always hilarious. Whenever he's out in public talking to people,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like his fieldwork
Yeah.
is great. I
yeah,
felt the Jordan Schlansky sketches, all of them with Jordan Schlansky,
Oh,
are
yeah.
lovely. The
amazing.
Jordan guy is
He's
genius,
genius,
man.
dude.
He's
His
perfect
chemistry is
against
amazing.
any comic because he's got he gives you
Yeah.
nothing. He gives you nothing. He's just fabulous. Yeah.
I,
And one of
I
my favorite sketches from the show is there is one particular sketch. If you guys want to go and look it up, it's called Andy Richter's Memoirs. It's a sketch where Andy's sitting on the side signing some books, and turns out he has written 18 books his entire life. 18 books, and Conan had no idea. And every book is just like, I want to kill somebody who I work with. Like 18, 6 feet from Dum Dum. Like these are his memoirs.
Uh, no, this
That
will
is
be like
hilarious.
Kunal. I'm sure Kunal's got these books in his head. Similar things. Yeah.
Also, I think
Yeah.
some of the best interview moments, right? Like, so Bill Burr's always amazing on that, but there was this one particular Norm Macdonald interview, right? Which I think at this point is considered like, so there was this Courtney Thorne Smith from Melrose Place was on it with her.
Oh, that's fabulous. That bit. I've seen it.
That one was
Yeah.
just insane, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
She's
they
with
were
that
talking.
orange haired guy. What's the famous
Carrot Top. She was
Carrot Top?
publicizing
Yeah.
the book called
Yeah.
Carrot Top, and she was saying that the movie is called Chairman of the Board, and this guy's been making fun of Carrot Top throughout the entire thing.
BURED.
Conan's like, make fun of that. BURED.
BURED. Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the best ones. I think that's like one of the best interview
But
clips I've ever
more
seen.
than just the jokes, it's just the kind of temperament he has on the show. He's just always fun. He
Yeah.
comes up with one bad joke, then talks about how bad the joke is, and he talks to the audience. He's just more fun.
Yeah.
I just prefer that to the manicured sort of jokes, which is rush off some teleprompters, which some comedians try to do, and they give you more bang for the buck. But the moment is not there. The moment is created much better with Conan.
Yeah.
You really feel
Yeah.
you're in the moment, and you may not even recall the joke, but just enjoy it.
Who do you like the most of all the guys who are left now?
So I used to love.
No, I like the Scottish
Because
guy.
I think
What's the Scottish guy's?
the Conan favorite. I think all of us are agreed with that. I
Yeah,
think we all
yeah,
agree
absolutely.
Conan's a favorite at this
Yeah,
point. But
absolutely.
now,
Yeah.
now who's best?
So I used to be a huge fan of Stephen Colbert's Colbert Report, but after he left Colbert Report and now
Yeah.
came on Late Show, I don't like him at all.
That's a character, and that's
Yeah, agreed. But it used to be a much more as a news. It still was the news. He was still parodying the
Yeah.
news. It was
Yeah.
that.
John Stewart's show with him doing that bit.
Yeah.
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 That bit was
also-
too
yeah,
wild,
also
I
very
think,
bad.
and then he's more toned down after that.
Yeah.
But I've been watching too much British stuff
Right,
at the
not clever.
moment, and I like all these shows like Would I Lie to You? I just love those shows. They're just
Ah.
silly.
Oh, I love what I like.
And you've got Lee
Yeah.
Mack, who's
Yeah.
fantastic. He's really quick. David Mitchell, very quick, good fun. They never cross any line of where you feel there's malice or anything. It's edgy enough without getting into that evil space, which Americans probably do a little bit more of.
Right.
But yeah, so I've been watching out of that and having a lot of fun.
So
What is the name of that Scottish guy?
James Corden.
No, he's English. He's my daughter's favorite.
Oh, Craig Ferguson.
Craig Ferguson. I like Craig
The
Ferguson.
best. He was the best.
Yeah.
But he's retired a while back.
He's been on for a long
Yeah.
time now.
Yeah, but I liked him. I remember him and that Miles. What is his name? Moran. What is it? Irish
Mark
comedian.
Maron. Oh no.
Moran. God, me and names. The guy was not giving him anything. He was being a little unfriendly or cold or whatever. I mean, he still had a cracking interview without losing his shape. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Craig Ferguson was all about the improv and
Yeah.
so it literally the thing was that on his show the pre-interview means nothing because before sitting down for every interview he would just tear up his notes and throw it away and then have like a
Even
random
though
improvised
they're
conversation.
upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been very
So
funny.
I never enjoyed Craig Ferguson that much. I mean, like there were bits and pieces which were
How
funny,
dare
but
you
I love it.
letting us futz around here and then you say that?
I never did. It never
But
really.
see, that's the thing. Ultimately, the personality has to gel. You can talk about
Yeah.
all the technique in the world and all and the craft, but you have to like the person. So I think Conan, the main thing is at least I really liked him.
Very likable.
I thought he was the kind of guy I could hang out with. If I grew up with him or whatever, he was just like a fun guy. Now he sounds like a stalker.
We're talking about Graham Norton
No, Graham Norton's totally different. No.
or Jonathan
Graham
Ross.
Norton. He's great. I love Jonathan Ross. He's fantastic.
Jonathan Ross is funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's really
yeah,
funny. I
and he's
so
fun.
I find a lot of the American stuff has gotten super political nowadays, right? I mean, like a little too
Yeah,
political, right? I mean, like it.
No, I
yeah,
agree with
agreed.
Silvery. I feel Colbert was a letdown over a long period of time, and as you say, the Donald Trump bashing after some time became predictable.
Yeah,
So from
It
just a
became
comedic point
boring.
of view, I was like, come on, give us something else, man. Occasionally fine, but every morning you come back. Oh, sorry, every night you come back with the same monologue on this guy.
yeah.
Agreed, he's a
Yeah.
prick and a pain in the ass, but give me something else.
Agreed. No, I mean, like, I think that that's why you're starting to see some of this stuff get a little more fun again.
Yeah,
Like, so I always enjoyed Jimmy Fallon games. I've never liked Jimmy Fallon interviews, but I've always
yeah,
Mm.
enjoyed Jimmy Fallon segments. I
yeah,
think he does segments really well, right? I mean, like, the interviews are dumb. His interviews are, like, terrible. I've
yeah.
always thought Jimmy Kimmel did good interviews, but the rest of his show sucked. Like, it was just aggressively bad.
Guillermo is
Yeah.
Yeah.
hilarious. Those bits are nice.
Yeah, Guillermo's fine. But
But James Corden, are we talking
I
about
like,
bits? James
I
Corden
like
bits are
Okay.
great. The
his bits are
Usain
great
Bolt
too.
run, if you've seen it, him England versus America, the 100-meter
But I
sprint.
can think about it. Yeah.
I mean, that's just gold, man. I mean, that's so funny. I've seen it 3 times.
James Corden's Carpool Karaoke with Paul
Lovely.
McCartney is an
Oh
excellent episode.
yes,
If you want,
my
it's a
God.
great
Yeah,
episode. They go back to Penny Lane, back to the
yeah,
bar where
exactly.
McCartney
Oh,
is perform at. Oh man, amazing.
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
Carpool Karaoke itself is a lot of fun to watch, right? I like that
Yeah,
kind of like that
yeah,
those kinds of segments. So yeah, segment wise, I think like some of the like James Corden is good. I think Jimmy Fallon does fun segments like his games and stuff like that, right? Like what's in the box is a fun game, or
right. I don't
yeah.
think he's that good an interviewer. He's good at his
oh,
impressions and these
yeah,
cutaways and slideaways. But
yeah.
as an
Yeah.
interviewer, I would say Conan would be the best of the lot. He's always going to have the most fun.
I think
Yeah,
Conan is the best like as an all round kind of this, right? I mean,
yeah,
like just
yeah,
Yeah.
what spending 40 minutes watching Conan is almost always fun. Not that I watched
yeah.
them 40-minute increments in the last 10 years, right? You're watching them on
I mean,
YouTube,
him
but
twitching his bloody hair was stupid,
yeah,
just playing with his mop.
his assistant.
I mean, that would be like a
Yeah.
joke.
The assistant
Yeah.
he had, right? I mean, like so many so many fun, stupid things happening with that assistant. Sonia,
So
something like that.
Sona, yeah. So Sona,
The crux, yeah, Sona, the Abyssinian, no, Abyssinian times have gone. Armenian,
Armenian.
Armenian descent. So let's get back to why would he quit the show after 11, 12 years? What was the reason? That is not clear, except for the fact that he's going to this.
It's a daily, no, dude. I mean, like it's a grind in some sense. You no longer need the
yeah.
money, right? I mean, like
So he's not
Conan's
being
problem.
pushed out
I
by
don't
HBO.
think so. I mean, I don't see TBS having better programming to come into that slot at a lower cost than this. Talk content is cheap as fuck to make, right? Outside of the salary that you pay your main guy, outside of that,
And don't forget, guys, he coincidentally he bumped up George Lopez, if I remember correctly, to come into TBS, didn't
I
he?
think so.
George Lopez was at
I think so.
11 and he goes to 12,
I
1 hour
think so.
up.
Yeah, I
So
don't
the prime
remember that.
slot went to him. But apparently
But
they talked amongst themselves and whatever.
but again, like dude. I mean, like this is in some ways when you're talking about broadcast television, there is only 1 hour slot at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever that is. And as a network, you're going to make a choice to do it to the biggest one. There's no way George Lopez is going to have a better time slot than Conan O'Brien. That's just it's foolish to even think that that would happen, right? Just
Hispanic
as if
market is going 3-1. It's just a matter
yeah,
of time.
that's fine. That's fine. But that doesn't mean that Conan O'Brien is still not bigger than George Lopez is, no?
You sound racist today.
Why?
I feel a sense of racism. I'm just kidding. I'm just futzing, man. When you futz, you futz. Just go for it. Okay. So the good news is he'll be back on HBO with a day, weekly, and
Yep.
for whatever reason, and maybe he wants to do more stuff with other people that allows him freeze his week a little bit. This Quran without borders went very well, for example, but that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
why didn't he come to India? That would be his last trip.
No, he did come to India at one point.
Not as part of the Without Borders thing.
No, he came to India when he was when he was still doing either late night or the Tonight Show.
Oh,
Okay.
so like an
he-
accident, a
no,
layover, and he for some reason
no, he did stuff around call centers and stuff like that.
where Bombay or Bangalore?
That I don't remember. It's been a while since I saw it.
Call up O'Brien, Silvery, and find out.
Yep. Immediately.
There are only like 864,000 in Boston. Just slowly start eliminating them till we reach Conan. Red hair will be only 50% of them. We'll figure it. Yeah. Anyway, so shall we move to the next topic? This has been exhausting. I don't want to fuss about the whole day.
It was in 2010.
He came where?
He came to India.
For the Republic Day parade.
Must have come to Bombay, Delhi.
I don't remember. I can't find any of the links anywhere.
When did he shop? They go to a mall.
Oh no, wait. This is different. This is some ad he did.
Huh?
This was an American Express ad. He did an American Express ad shooting in India. This is not the
Oh,
video stuff, but I do remember that Conan came to India. I do remember that.
So I just found a video called Conan Travels, Andy Blitz Visits India, 9/17/04.
Okay.
So that's it, 2004.
Andy a name or just Andy?
Andy Blitz, not in Andy Richter. So
Oh, Andy Blitz. Who's
Oh.
that?
I don't know who Andy Blitz is.
Who the Blitz is
Uh,
Andy? Firstly, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway,
Felt like this
Yeah,
was a
that's all.
putzing around moment. Let's go to the next
Yes,
thing.
let's
Yeah,
We don't
sure.
have enough
Okay.
information. If anybody does know that Conan was there and he shopped in your shop or had an interaction with you, we'll give you a special prize, Silvery or Amit for the weekend.
Cool.
Right now, that's all we got.
Maybe it is this thing that you're talking about, this Andy Blitz thing that I'm remembering. But I remember there was something where Conan did something around like call centers and stuff like that.
Maybe he's looking for a job in between. Oh, sorry. Oops. Okay, enough Conan. Let's
Alright.
bury Conan. Can't say his
Alright,
name
cool.
correctly ever.
So,
Let's bury that chapter for now. Yeah.
The next news story though seems like a bit from Conan O'Brien's show.
Yeah.
Is
You have a picture?
no,
I have a
the Kim
picture of the
Jong.
papers. I can.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So Kim
It's
Jong.
there, man, bro. Just try and find it.
Okay, Kim Jong Un apparently
Go.
they're saying has lost some weight, and because of that, the North Korean officials and North Korean media are like kind of concerned for his health, and there because of that there have been talks about who will be the heir, who will replace him if something happens to the great leader, that kind of stuff. But it's ridiculous. He's hardly any weight loss. Firstly,
No,
and
No, dude, it's significant. Look at this. I
the
just
face
checked
is
the
looking
picture.
much thinner.
I mean,
Yeah,
just only like the face is thinner, the specs may have.
yeah, but I mean, like, dude, it's not like that kind of weight loss which makes everybody
Are
think
they?
that this
Yeah.
guy's sick.
No, it's a substantial. Come on, look at how fat the face is on the left.
Probably just started eating healthy, and now he's thinking like he's depressed at home. Man, people thinking I'm unwell. I've been eating healthy, taking all
Amit,
this effort,
this is a dangerous thing
going
we've done.
exercising.
What?
Because now people can see your face and my face and Kim Jong's face, and yeah, it's not that much to call on it, bro. We're all from the same tribe. We should have shown more support. I felt we did the wrong thing on this one. Yeah.
No, but also, is it? I mean, I don't know. Is it? Is it that much weight that he's lost? Also, probably shouldn't make like all the famine jokes that are coming into your mind right now, right? So let's not.
No, but I was just thinking more about the fact that even if you lose 5 kilos or whatever, for him it'll be
It comes off the face now first.
It comes off the face first, yeah, generally speaking, and it comes on the face as well.
First as well, yeah.
So, but his sister is quite pretty. The one who's the foreign minister or whatever he calls her for on daily basis, he changes her portfolio. But she talks. She's the one who makes all the statements about America will suffer and all that. They make these grand pronouncements on how America will be destroyed, and then their own nuclear thing blows up in the 5 feet away from the launch pad. One of those. But we'll keep trying because that's all we spend our money on. Yeah. So genetically she got the goods and he was given the rest. But they could have also, and guys, think about this for a second. Photoshop could have also happened because it's not that huge a change. It could have been cropped here and there and touched up a little bit.
But you can tell from the way his specs sit on his face that he has definitely lost some weight. But I don't think it's Photoshop, is what I'm saying.
No, it's unlikely to be Photoshop. It's definitely some weight loss seems to be there.
They may not have Photoshop.
Could be a body double. Could be his doppelganger body
They got
double.
computers in 2019. Body double, I doubt. Yeah, it can't be that exact. The face.
But no, that's the rumor. No, that's the famous rumor about Kim Jong Un that he has like so many.
You've never seen the real Kim Jong?
No, that they very often they'll have like a body double.
Hitler had, Churchill had, they all had body doubles, but they don't look that exact. I have a body double, but he looks nothing like me. But I send him for events and stuff where there's no work to be done. You've met Kunal, right? Yeah. So he just goes and stands there, gets a check and comes back. But I think the big question people are asking in hope is he sick? Has he got COVID? Is he dying? But I don't know how that will change because another family member will take over. It's not like he's going to collapse and become democratic on Tuesday, 3 days after the death of one of these guys. So
No, there's a power structure there.
Yeah. She's number 2 now.
Yeah, he goes, somebody else comes. He goes, somebody else comes.
Yeah. So I don't see any change happening in the near future. But it's great that we spend so much time discussing his face at a time of all the information that we've decided to highlight which 2 stories so far in the show. Conan O'Brien skipping one show for another, as it apparently turns out, which is not even that big news. And then this guy is losing maybe upwards of 3 kilos, but not more than 5. and then suddenly we think something's happened to Kim Jong Un. But that's a bit sad. But I've got some good news for you. In India, unrelated, Mayawati has decided that she will do the UP and Uttarakhand polls. BSP will do them alone. No more alliances. And her point was that, because you take the alliance only when you need someone to blame for losing. And now you can lose on your own peacefully. You don't have to get into all that. So she's worked it out properly. By the way, she was supposed to tie up with what's it? Oasis party, Kim.
Yeah.
I find it sounds more like a vaccine that's being made than a political party. Kim or ISIM, or it's one of those. It's got lots of letters, like lots of A's, lots of I's, an S, a Q, a P. It goes on forever. It's a really long name. Yeah.
It's a All India Majlis e
Take your time.
Ittehadul Muslimin.
You'll never be able to get a card at this rate. You'll fail the interview. I have to be honest with you. You're futzing this up, man. You are futzing this up.
Yeah. Sorry for the mispronunciation, but yeah, that's the one.
So I always love the UP and Uttarakhand polls. I know, because one will be decided on infrastructure, which will not improve, and the other on the Kumbh Mela. That's it. Those are the two issues. Nothing else matters. Yeah. So shall we take a break? It's 10:30.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week. Thank you so much to Cred, CED, and Global Victoria. Without you guys, this thing would not be possible. So, on the note, Maruk Inayat gives us an overview of the potential Twitter ban in India. On this round is on me. Gauri Devi Dayal was joined by actor-producer Purna Jagannathan to talk about her career in Bollywood, Hollywood, and theatre. She talks about the upcoming season of the show Never Have I Ever. On Cyrus Says, we had legendary musician Usha Uttup. She took us through her journey and shared her experiences as the unconventional musician. In the second installment of the Father's Day special on Akla Station Adulthood, Ayushi has a candid conversation with her father, Siddhartha Amin. On the Global Victoria Tech Talks podcast, we showcase some compelling new tech stories coming out of Melbourne. Whether it's from the buzzing gaming industry or the robust edtech sector, Victoria is increasingly becoming a hub of emerging technology, and we talk to some thought leaders and industry legends about the same. Catch all the action from the World Test Championship on the Edges and Sledges podcast. For our Hindi listeners, we have Khel Niti, which goes live on YouTube every morning. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
But when we announce a break, like when I've done television work, we announce a break, and actually a break happens. Like you get to wipe your face while the break happens, and then you come back.
Want to wipe your face?
No, I want it to be let it all hang out here. But I do have my lovely pink napkin with my doggy symbol, the Macho Man Randy Savage at his very best, and I do keep it. It is something that you need from time to time. I'm a big supporter of a napkin. I believe the napkin is the most underrated accessory in the male's entire arsenal, because this can be used to wipe off that spillage in your underwear. For example, when you pee a little badly in a rush or whatever, you can do a little cleanup with this little guy. To also wipe your face, your mouth after eating, drinking, snot from your nose. It's universal. And if you're like me and you believe in not washing your stuff, then it lasts forever. Let me show you my mask. I have completed 200 days of the same mask, folks, that I completed a little time back. You can see the color and how worn it is. And it's my little fight against the mask oppression. I will wear the mask, but I will wear the dirtiest mask I can find. You see my point? And this is how the world is changed by the movers and shakers of society like myself and Conan O'Brien. We must fight for what we believe in.
You don't believe in any of this. You don't believe in any of this.
So many problems.
I know. Okay. I hope that there is a washing between the cleaning of urine and the wiping of face and such. I hope that there's a wash in the middle.
I'll tell you once, guys, when you're catching flights, in the old days when you were catching flights, say you're going from Dubai to the West, blah, 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 2 or 3 flights are involved, you're alone. This thing is unbelievable. But even they put you in business class or whatever, you don't get access to a lot of things. But this is a one-man stop for everything. It cleans you from head to toe. You don't have to think twice. You've got this guy to protect you.
I know you do need to think twice, because once you use it to dab up urine, at that point in time, it needs to go right in the wash. It cannot be used for your facial wash.
You're giving urine a bad name, yeah. You're giving urine. It's like racism. Don't make urine out to be one bad guy. You're not a bad guy. You're just your friend. Who's there with you every day, and as you get older, more and more with you every day. Come on.
I mean, your body's trying to get rid of it for a reason. No, you don't have to dab it up and put it on your face.
It makes marks in the underwear, or like all over your leg, and all that can happen. When listen, I have an impatience issue. I even pee fast, and sometimes I want to stop, and the pee is not ended, and I've lost interest. So I have that paradox going on. So this guy comes in handy because I've forced my pee back in. I'm out of the door, and then suddenly I realize, oh my god, pee is not finished. This comes in handy.
Okay, I have a question. These kind of napkins or handkerchiefs?
Napkins. Handkerchiefs are bullshit, man.
Handkerchief doesn't absorb.
It doesn't absorb anything. Handkerchiefs are
That's
bullshit.
true. But
It
handkerchiefs
just-
are like good for like wiping your face and wiping like sweat.
Handkerchiefs are only good for like basically
Yes, sir.
blowing your nose when you're having a cold. Other than that, they're pointless.
If you're robbing a bank, it could come in handy because they cover more surface than this small thing.
Mask is better, no? Then
Yeah, the ones that Kunal has now, he's got some new masks. He studied the market to save his life, and he's got some new mask, it really looks like Darth Vader's collection. It's got like a big nose, and I don't know, why would you draw so much attention to yourself? You walk around like a moron. It's like the guys with those big phones when the phones came out. You guys remember those big Siemens, Ericsson, whatever the hell it was?
Yeah.
I mean, the phone was like a radio set. And then I remember we were doing a rehearsal, and one of the boys had got this phone. He pulled the phone out, and everybody had to stop. It was like a moment. Why?
I got a trivia question for you.
Yeah.
What was the first time in any movie that a cell phone was ever shown?
In the English.
English. It's English. Hindi doesn't have it. Hindi comes much later.
So it'll be in the 90s.
No,
After?
80s.
Cell phone in the 80s?
Yes,
Oh, it's like a prediction.
it's the
it's
big phone that
before
you're
it's
talking
launched.
about.
Superman?
That's a little too early.
Was it Indiana Jones or something?
No, so Indiana Jones is set in the 30s, dude.
Yeah.
Set in the third. Okay, yeah.
James Bond? A James Bond film?
No,
That had this infrastructure around, where sci-fi sort of feel to it.
no. It was okay. Let me put it this way: it was somebody showing off the fact that hey, I can talk to somebody wherever the fuck I want to. It was a show-off thing using the cell phone.
Comedy genre?
No, drama movie, Oscar-winning performance by the main actor
ETs.
who used the cell phone.
Gandhi!
No,
That was 80s, by the way. I was a Chariots of Fire, 80s. I will think of the 80s. Who else? Oh, damn. But it's impossible. What is that? Oh, Dancing with the Wolves, but that's a cowboy, Native American.
these movies are set in like the
I
1800s.
I'm
there.
trying to remember which won the Oscar. In the 80s.
It's not an Oscar-winning movie. Oscar-winning performance by the lead actor.
Has anyone in the chat answered it?
Yes, they have.
Pretty Woman? Is it Pretty
Damn them.
Woman?
No,
No.
I see
Look at the
two
chat.
people who have got. I see two people who have got the answers correct.
They must have Googled it, yeah.
Three
Put your
people.
hands up, everybody.
Three
What the
people have
hell?
got the answer correct.
Hands up, don't fuss with us, man. Hands up.
The answer is Wall Street.
Oh, I remembered watching. Oh, damn.
Michael Douglas as Gordon Gekko uses a cell
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, it's an
From,
iconic film.
yes.
Silvery's not seen it?
Is that really the first time?
That's the first time. I heard this on a podcast when they were like, the Rewatchables podcast was doing Wall Street, and over there they did it as a trivia thing. That's the first time a cell phone ever appeared on
wow.
film.
Wow, I remember the jokes that we used to make on Ericsson's name. I got Ericsson. That stupid joke. went on and
Ericsson.
on. We did so many shows, stage shows, where we just use this line, and the Indian people just love this kind of humor. You just come on and say, "Hey, phone for you. Hey, you got Ericsson. Phone for you," and the crowd is going, the funniest thing ever. It's just so, should be banned. Some gags should be banned after something. There should be a list of, and not because of political reasons, just because it's too much. No more. No mas. Yeah. All right. So we do one more topic and then do the
Let's do
AMAs?
one more topic here.
So there are BJP leaders. BJP leaders are
Yeah,
slowly
BJP leaders.
coming forward and speaking up and criticizing. BJP.
That sarcasm is actually kind of
the-
deep. 'Cause do we have BJP?
Yeah.
Do we have leaders
Yeah.
plural as opposed to leaders singular?
Let's not dwell into it. Let's let it hang. Go on then.
So BJP leaders are slowly coming forward and trying to criticize the COVID handling of the UP government, like in big ways. About 3 or 4 of them have already come out, and more. The last one who came out is saying more are to follow.
I think, Silver, you've already pushed this agenda a couple of times. A divide between the powers that be at the center and Yogi, the
Yeah.
Yogi Bhakt following, which is very different actually. It's almost there is like a 2-layer following there. But I don't know if that's Ahmed, do you think that's true? They've been pretty disciplined. At the end of the day, they've had one leader, one alpha, and they've been
No,
able to
but-
hold together.
So
You think there's going to be a problem with UP?
Sorry, Antriksh, what are you saying?
You say.
Sorry, one of these leaders, the thing is like they're basically criticizing the COVID handling of the UP government, especially in the second wave, saying that you have not learned any lessons from your first wave. So that's why your COVID second wave handling is just so horrendous. So it's going on to say that one of these MLAs came forward saying, "Okay, I was at a hospital, at one of these hospitals, trying to get a bed for my wife, and she could not get a bed for 6 hours because there was no oxygen bed available for 6 hours."
And that's an MLA's wife. Imagine.
And that's an MLA's wife. Yeah.
And
So,
hello,
yeah.
that's like par for the cost time wise. I mean, the real sad stories are much worse. Where people pass away waiting, literally because it's days and days. Yeah. So, not to belittle that guy. Maybe he suffered some loss. Let's not get into that.
No, but I mean, like the fact that an MLA's wife took 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
I think that says everything that needs to be said, right? Because
Guys, I know people who are very well heeled, connected people who struggle in places like Beach Candy and Reliance and everything else, because it's not that simple to break the bureaucracy. You've got to get your COVID certificate in place first. If you don't have that, they don't deal with you at all. And by the time you call whoever and whoever calls whoever, there's a lot of red tape. It doesn't happen
it
like
takes
that.
a lot of time. Yeah, it
Takes
takes a lot of time for this to go.
So yeah, I mean, the only one person who could really help, there's just the one guy, but then he can't take all your calls because he's supposed to be the prime minister. So, but below him, I think it really doesn't matter who you call. It just gets lost in translation over a period. Yeah, but I think the bigger question which you're trying to say, create a little gossip there, and people have been saying this from the beginning. Will there be a sort of a breakaway with the Yogi faction versus the old faction?
No, there won't be, because the BJP has already announced that in the upcoming elections, Yogi Adityanath is going to be the face of the BJP. I read this. Yeah, I already read this.
100%. They're not going to take a chance and put somebody new.
For the UP elections, right? Of course,
Yeah.
he has to be the
Yeah.
face. He's the chief minister. How can he not be the face for UP
No,
elections?
the question is, does he ever make a tilt towards the prime ministership if they were to win again? In which case, there's some people who are trying to pull the wool from under the rug from under his foot, feet, 1 foot. I don't know. He's a yogi, so he could be levitating, and then under his levitation. I mean, let's be honest. He's a spiritual man
He is a spiritual
from
man.
all accounts.
Yes, he is. And spiritual men can levitate.
Yes, they're above us.
Yes.
He's there somewhere.
No, but it is definitely going to be interesting to see, like, how important the UP election is going to be in terms of what the national sense of things are going to be as well. Is kind of interesting, right? Because here's the thing. Let's say BJP wins the UP election next time, right? In 2014, in 2024, when they go for the national election, they're fighting with UP from a position of like governance. But at the same time, if they lose the election in UP right now, and let's say
Then he becomes very big.
there's an Akhilesh Yadav, there is a Mayawati, there is some coalition, something UP government. We all know that the level of competence and the level of corruptions here are not going to be great, right? So then, does that create an anti-incumbency in UP? Because UP is basically BJP majorities are dependent on UP, right?
Yep.
For the national level, majorities are dependent on UP. So it's interesting to see how that's going to happen.
Yeah, and if he wins both times, both the UP elections as well as the general elections, himself, if he wins, it'll strengthen him a lot, I feel. And if the general they don't win or they struggle to win, then he plays a much bigger role in their politics.
But see, the thing is that if
he's the star, then right, he's the star who won. While the other big stars, let's say, I've let them down, a few of them without taking names, then his position goes up.
the thing is that
It's like form. It's like cricket or football.
the only way the BJP loses majorities and stuff like that is if the UP performance is not good. If UP performance is strong,
True.
it's very unlikely that they
The
lose
maths is
majority.
such that it's too big a state, and it's unlikely that they can lose that and not lose fully, or win that and not win fully. But
Correct.
let's see. Let's hold on to that for later. Let's not speculate, because I may come into politics by then. I haven't decided.
This is why we need 55 to 60 states in India and not the fucking 29 that we have right
I
now.
say it's like petrol. We should create states every 5 minutes. Now, I hope that's not sounding like an anti-national statement. I take it back. I realize.
If you're talking about every 5 minutes by
The state of Hawaii.
if you're talking about every 5 minutes while flying, I think that might not be that inappropriate, right? I mean, like that basically gives you a radius for a state of about 500, 700 kilometers. So that's that's a decent sized state.
The question is, why can't a district be a state in any case? For example, why can't Walkeswar, Malba Hill?
My math is completely wrong on the how far you can fly on 500 in 5 minutes.
Imagine we were a state, Walkeswar, Malba Hill, the state. Let's call it Walkesh Hill. Okay, it's a state of just a small area. You can go up to say Grant Road, whatever that surrounding area that we have, and that becomes a state. It'll be much more easy to police, look after, control trees, everything else. I'm hoping. Don't you think?
But that'll be a state or a city. like a small township.
Call it a state. You have thousands of states like that. No? Your Powai is a state, just Powai. Again, you'll be able to do much better work. I think because you don't care about anybody
Yeah.
else. You just think only about Powai. And then both the rich of Powai and the poor of Powai will come to the party, hopefully, and produce a better looking aesthetic and actually functional state.
So I was
So,
listening to a podcast yesterday, and somebody was talking about what happens if you absolutely abolish political parties. There are no political parties. Democracy continues to reign,
you mean,
but no political parties. So now what happens is everything becomes local then. At that point in
yeah,
time, there's no national level this kind of
correct.
thing, right? And it's an
Yeah.
interesting thought experiment in that sense, right? That what
And
happens.
what we can do, we can revive Rome and the gladiators and all the old politicians, since they have nothing to do suddenly, why should they out of a job? We throw them to the lions. We have some lions. We have only 44
Yeah.
lions in Gir. So all the 44 lions get to eat. And we're like, don't worry, aap sab log ek hai, all secular. We don't care which party you're from, into the pit with the lions. I'm liking your thinking, Amit. It's very, very forward thinking.
Well, I mean,
And
like you've taken it
pro
3
animal.
steps forward,
Yeah.
but sure.
But
No,
isn't that what the Indus Valley civilization was slightly about, as told to us by that wonderful author just the other day, Mr. Arora, when he mentioned that they had localized sort of governance and they didn't have any alpha king, they didn't have
Yeah.
that sort of sense. So what they had is that in your community you run it. Literally, how Kushru Bagh is run. Let's look at Kushru Bagh. I don't want to be like sound racist and say Parsis are better than and all this. But if you look at a Bagh, Parsi Bagh, it's almost flawless. It has politics and all, but it's clean. People are well looked after. Their problems are actually elitist problems. You can't really say the same problem as other communities have in their collective. So a collective, when it's run well in a small sort of, where the match is acceptable and whatever, I think it can run really well. And then you have many, many of those, and then you can scale it. And then one day you have a good country like New Zealand.
Well, so I mean, like that. This was the organizing principle of all the various Roman city-states, Greek city-states. This is how they all were, right? They were all
Yeah.
city-state. Even if you look at ancient India, right, and you look at the size of kingdoms, until you had, I want to say Chandragupta Maurya, right? I think that was
Yeah.
the first person to really build an empire.
Yeah, Magad.
Before that, everything was like small, right? Most things were like the Ramayana.
We Indians are known for our smallness in more ways than one.
Okay. The Ramayana 7 kingdoms, right, were basically
Yeah.
all Bihar, right? All 7 kingdoms were just in Bihar, right? Which
Yeah, Bihar, Nepal, right?
Bihar, Nepal,
Stretches,
basically on the
yeah.
Ganga, on the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers, right? But they were basically just over there. They were nowhere else, right? So I mean, like it's there is a history of small governing units, which has now become these like really expansive units where it's really the thing is I wonder, see, there are things that a national government is needed for, right? A common defense, setting up economy, doing all these kinds of things.
Only defense. The economy can run in from localized situations because
No.
and then the globalization of the market is such that why do you have to have a national thing? We have a globalized market and we have local. You're still dealing online with everyone in any case.
No, but where do your regulations then come in? Do your regulations come in locally or do they come in nationally?
But the
right?
regulation will not be like a world body regulation. We'll all have to follow it. It'll be a little difficult to
There is no world body that's doing that right now, right? So then I mean, like,
start it. I have the time.
there you
Don't
go.
futz
Then
around
let's
with
do
me,
it.
bro.
Let's do
We
it
can
then.
do it. Let's not point fingers at other people. You have to do it ourselves. The day my wife told me, go and get your own food, I did it. I called Kunal, he placed an order to Zomato, the food came. So everything is possible when you're challenged. You rise to the occasion. Okay, I'll put this away for now because I think we've got enough comments saying that I just want you to see the dirt on my mask. I don't know if you
Yeah,
can,
I
maybe the
know.
lighting is better. Because I showed it to, I went to Apollo Hospital for some insurance stuff. And that lady told me, sir, this is a very, very dirty mask. She actually,
Yeah.
because I'm older than her by
Wow.
20 years, sister was very nice to me and didn't slap me. But it was that feeling of, bad boy in class, like bad boy, you soiled your pant, go to the whatever. So she actually told me, sir, this is a very, very dirty mask. She said it in
Also
that
makes
voice, like
it
Malayali
makes
accent.
no sense. Why would you not just have a couple of masks, man? I mean, like, I don't understand why.
Oh, I have lots of masks. I just don't want to wear clean ones.
What is this fetishization? Why do you need to use this mask to the point where it is probably stinky as hell too, right?
We must have a voice. And they've just oppressed us by making us wear this mask all the time for no reason. Like at 4:52 in the morning when I'm walking my dogs and there's nobody there but one milkman on a bike, why am I wearing my mask is my question. There's just nobody around. So as a mark of disrespect, I wear this.
I am not denying that there is,
It's like
that
dirt
they've gone
power,
too
man.
far. They've gone too far in terms of what mask requirements
You're
are. But
entertaining me, Amit. Don't entertain me. If you entertain me, then you're falling on your own sword. Never do that.
that's a fair point. Well, okay, so then
AMAs. AMAs.
yes, AMAs.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored. I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
And AMAs. Let's get to the first one. First one comes in from Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne asks, let's say hypothetically the WHO and the US intelligence agencies corroborate the Wuhan lab leak conjecture. What do you think should happen next? What do you think will actually happen?
No, but it's an accident, no?
Exactly, it's not a weapon.
It is an accident.
I mean, if it's an accident, human error, then what can you do? An accident is a totally different thing as a malicious intent thing. If it's proven to be an accident, we just have to lump it.
But then they try to hide it like a lot.
That's not the biggest crime. That is a crime, but it's not the biggest crime. The idea of creating a weapon to destroy the world is another level altogether. There's social embarrassment for your country and all that. Okay, wrong thing because more people are suffering. Then it becomes like murder, negligence. But it's still a far way off from actually creating something to destroy something and dominate, which is what the far-fetched reason is. I'm having trouble with that conspiracy theory. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that they're doing that at all, right? I think that China should be held to account for this. In many ways, they need to start opening up their labs. When
Donald Trump was
no,
right.
I mean, like,
$40 trillion. What is the sum you want?
well, I don't want money from China. I don't think China should get money, right? But I think that what China should do is, what should happen is that China should be held accountable by other people. That, hey, how did this happen in one of your labs? What were your safety precautions? And you now need to be part of an international body where the same way that we have an atomic weapons body internationally run by the UN, which is not very effective, but is better than nothing. We need to have a contagions body run by the UN, which all participant countries need to basically you need to be in compliance with the regulations when it comes to safety and stuff like that. Because how did this happen? Right, is the question. Let's say it happened. How did it happen? Was it something which was completely unpredictable? I don't think that's the case. Right, there is a failure here that was a security failure or a failure of containment or whatever you want to call it. There was a failure here. So if there's a failure here,
Meaning a leak happened because a guy made some sort of error, physical error, and something opened and it came out of it.
no, nobody knows what happened exactly. We're just all conjecturing.
Use conjecture. I mean, what could have happened if it's a human error? Anything could have happened. I could have dropped something which has a virus in it and it spread. I don't know.
Virus doesn't matter, right? I mean, like, if you you have to build for error. You have to build this stuff in a way that you can take an accident. You have to build this stuff in that way, right? And that's
all this is true. But the practicality of life in labs is that occasionally something will go wrong.
well, something can go wrong. I'm not saying that something can never go wrong. Something can go wrong. Even when I'm saying that China should be forced into submitting into some sort of international inspection regime, which every country who's doing this kind of stuff should. U.S., India, UK, Australia. I don't give a fuck who's doing it. Everybody should submit to some sort of regime.
I've done my labs a couple of times and I've got horrible reports saying that I'm a man. So, I mean, you can't trust labs. Labs are filled with human error. But again, I don't want to sound like I'm taking China's side, for God's sake. I'm just saying, what do you want to do? I mean, this thing happens. You're saying accountability, that you have to be so error. It cannot be error prone at all. It has to be like, 100%. 100% is going to happen. 100% is in our head.
But we don't know what happened here. We don't know if it was 100% or 10% or 20% or 50%.
So, Amit, if I give you the 5 scenarios where it could have happened, how are you going to punish them differently? What is the point?
I'm not saying punish them. I'm saying a regime needs to be created where there is a international body which is monitoring this stuff. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything when you're dealing with infectious disease. We know what can happen now.
Your international body which has a mandate for all countries.
Yes.
Because now, we've got like 20 countries with capability, which is just unbelievable. It's not one or
two. Similar to the what is the
WHO.
thing where the thing where they go into
the bomb testing
the nuclear thing. Yeah, they go into all these countries now. The UN body is a UN IAEA.
IAEA. It just got fired by Iran. Iran refused to cooperate because we Iranis do not cooperate. We don't listen to you. IAEA.
But when Iranis don't cooperate with the IAEA, then at that point in time, aren't they action is taken? Or like other countries basically say, hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I get it.
Same thing over here.
I get it. But also remember, there's also left field in science. A few countries, Bangladesh might come up with something big. Watching them, because we have some brilliant scientists of all hues, colors, races, nationalities across the length and breadth of 190 countries. So it's not just the 5, 6 that you keep your eye on, or the so-called mongrel countries that you're worried about. It's much more than that. You might just suddenly have one of the Central Asian republics with a brilliant guy who said, enough of Borat. Borat must suffer, and then he creates something fabulous.
Listen, that's the world we live in, right? I mean, like today, a nuclear bomb, you can find instructions on how to make a nuclear bomb on the internet. You live in this world today, right? I mean, like, so that is the.
But you can't do anything about it because they're shutting shops by 4. So that's a good thing. You're back in Maharashtra. I'm talking about
Okay.
a lot of terrorist activities come to a standstill because bahut band hai. I mean, the poor guys, don't have a chance in hell with our bureaucracy. Really. I'm sorry, I'm killing your story. Shall we go to the next question?
Yeah, that's okay. I had no story. Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Next one comes from Mittu
Oh,
Chaudhary.
sorry, but I just can't get over the 4 o'clock, and then should we extend to 6 o'clock? Do you guys know that SOS is happening in England? Save Our System, basically, which is hospitality, music, and entertainment coming together, and they're doing these marches all over London and other big cities, saying that, guys, he's given another lockdown till July 21st. They were supposed to open June 19th, UK I'm talking about, and they say we're going mad because now we can't function like this. So the same thing's going to happen in India. I mean, I don't know. We've been on level 3 for a long time. Again, I'm talking only our area, Mumbai, but what's going to happen? How are we going to survive so many industries?
I have a question for both of you. Our government, basically the center, filed an affidavit with the Supreme Court saying that by the end of the year, they will have all adults in the country vaccinated, at least with 1 dose. What do you guys think? You think that's going to be possible?
If they are able to maintain last week's pace and increase it a little bit, it is possible.
Also, 100% is not the answer. It'll probably be in the 90s.
I think it was 70% that they said. They
yeah,
said
exactly.
70%.
Because there's a lot of people off the radar, and you can't
Yeah.
find them, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of people who are refusing to take it. Come with me.
No, so 70% also gives us the. Those people are idiots. But 70% gives us the
Maths.
the herd the
Herd
herd
immunity, maths,
immunity
yeah.
that we kind of mostly need, right? Yeah.
I think it's actually 60%. It's just over the halfway mark. But whatever, if they can do that, great. Who's to stop them?
Yeah.
I'm going tomorrow for mine, and I'll tell you about the experiences. You're going today for yours.
I'm going
Second
today
one.
for mine.
But
Yes,
that's
I
2
am.
people who, and Sylvie, you've done 1, right?
I've done 1, yeah.
But
Mine is still 3 months away, yeah.
you're also young, so you don't need to even do 2. You should do 1 and then let other people have the rest. Do the right thing.
I mean, I'll consult my doctor, man. Yeah.
You should
correct.
stand outside the
Hang on a
vaccine
second.
clinic and say, Chacha ji, aap jaiye. Main 29 saal ka hu. And nothing will happen. And then, of course, a car hits you while you're walking home.
So
But
who are these people who you know who don't want to get the vaccine whatsoever? Can we kind of
I'm
make
not
fun of
taking
them for a little bit? No, don't take names, but make fun of
One
them.
is an very elderly gentleman whose his point is, look, everything is failing in my life. He's got all kinds of problems. He's 76 years old, and he's like, I don't. What am I? I've got. He can't walk. I've got this huge problem with the lungs already, which is breathing and issues and all that. He's got diabetes, etc., etc., everything. So his point is that what's in it for me, one way or the other.
What's in it for you is that you get it, you don't die.
But he thinks his time is near. I had a long conversation with him. Lives in my lane.
Listen, that's a fair-ish kind of
He didn't
point.
sound arrogant or bravado. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
no,
he
that's
almost
okay.
wise. He looked me in the eye and was talking to me. I almost felt really bad. I didn't know what to say.
I mean, I
But
still
he was very clear. He said, what do you want me to do? I've suffered a lot for the last 3-4 years, and what is the vaccine going to do for me? How long am I going to live anyway? One way or the other. And he's going to suffer either way.
right. If he's looking at end of life, then I guess that's one thing, right? I mean, like he's just thinking of it like
He's
that
looking at
perspective.
quality of life. His quality of life has not been good. And his quality of life is not going to get better with the vaccine.
How is the quality? No, it is because you don't.
How?
If you get COVID, you do not die.
It's tough to argue with someone who's in the middle of something like that because their sensitivity level is very different from ours. Ours is still a generic sensitivity level. When you're specifically in it, people are different. What am I going to say?
I don't know.
I can. I feel so much for you, sir. Please take it. No, I can't say that.
No, it's an individual choice in some sense,
Yeah.
right? You have the choice
Yeah.
to take or not take the vaccine. That
Yeah.
it is my individual choice to mostly mock. In this case, maybe not this particular individual, but anybody else who has come to me and saying that I'm not taking the vaccine because I'm not sure, or these people are trying to control us. And I'm
They
just
say,
like,
something will happen to me and this and that, and I can't take a chance. And especially younger people, it's just ridiculous. Honestly,
I just want to
ridiculous.
smack those people.
Like
I
Sylvie
mean,
offline has been telling me I don't want to take the second vaccine. I don't think it'll gel with me and all that. Sylvie, that's useless, really. By the way, you can take it in your bum also. You don't have to take it in the arm. If the nurse is sweet and nice, yeah, you just take your pants off and when you go there, she'll understand.
Okay, then I'll take 5 vaccines. Why stop at two then? At that
Ek
point.
aur jab, madam. Don't say sister. That kills the moment. So does madam. I mean, how many people do you date called madam? I mean, that's horrible. Oof. Let's get out of this messy conversation. On next one.
Next one comes in from
Yeah.
Mittu Chaudhary. He says, what does Amit think about the worldwide chip shortage that will drive the prices of mobile phones and computers up? Will that halt penetration of internet in the country?
It's a danger. It's definitely a danger. Because I mean, like chips are everything today. Microchips matter. Like to. So, can I just say, biggest fucking unexplainable thing to me from the Indian government's perspective is why is there not a fab plant in India till today?
Why?
I'm sorry, but I mean, like, why is there not a fabrication plant in
By
India?
the way, we didn't make the list of top cyber countries in the world. Huh? There's this list of top cyber countries. We're in the second round.
I don't know what that list is.
US and all are ahead of us. I was quite disappointed. I thought we'd be in the top five, but we're in the second round.
But what does it mean? What does a cyber country mean?
I think the ability to use cyber culture for everything to propagate the country
We're still fairly low in terms of internet penetration, right? There's still a long ways to go.
beyond the cities. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
The only thing I could
there's
think
still
of.
there's still a long way to go in that sense. But
Also, our great engineers are there.
well, so that was interesting, right? I saw so 67 unicorns have been created in the US in the last 5 years or something like that, and out of which I think some 17 or 18 were people of Indian origin.
Okay, so we are in tier one. India's offensive cyber capability is Pakistan focused and regionally effective and not tuned towards China, says a new report by International Institute for Strategic Studies. Blah, 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 blah. Number one powerful cyber country is United States. In tier two, Australia, Canada, China, France, Israel, Russia, UK. In tier three, India, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Malaysia, North Korea, Vietnam. Tier three.
What are they talking about here? You said
Like the lockdown, level three.
no.
See,
I mean, like, are we talking about like the ability to use cyber warfare? Is
okay,
that what
so
we're
the
talking
US
about?
is the only country in the first tier for its world leading strengths across all categories. So they've got a list of categories basically, and we don't tick in each
Okay.
category for our cyber capability for that category. Okay, but we're below Australia, Canada, China, France, Israel, Russia, and UK. Why are we below them?
Well, I'm not surprised.
We work so hard, Amit. We work so hard.
Israel, we should be below. UK, we should be below. Australia, we should be below. But again, it depends on what this is precisely, right? I mean, like if they're talking about offensive cyber capabilities, believe me, Indians scam like nobody else scams on the internet.
No, so cyber empowerment, cyber dependence, cyber security and resilience, global leadership in cyberspace affairs, and offensive cyber capability as well. But that's only one part, and we have overdone that part. It seems that
In that case, it's understandable, right? I mean, like we have a long ways to go.
yeah.
We're growing very
11
fast, but we have a
categories.
long ways
Yeah.
to go. We have a long ways to go in terms of penetration, in terms of service usage, right? I mean, like right now, India has leapfrogged past a lot of other countries when it comes to payments and stuff like that. But otherwise, service usages are quite low for us, right? I mean, like
But you
people
always
don't.
associate us with tech. You know, unfortunately, a lot of our tech, like I said before, other countries have benefited from it, especially the US and to some extent European countries. But let me tell you that I thought we'd be better than tier three. Tier three is horrible. I cried. I cried like a baby. It was like losing the World Test Championship. I was like, why? Why are you doing this to my country, my beautiful country? It's sunny outside right now.
We're still top 15, right?
Sunny is my neighbor.
No,
Hi. Sorry.
no,
Go on.
it's tier 3, but it's top 15, right?
Yeah, it stopped. We are just below, I think, six. So we are seven or eight in the seventh or eighth
There you go.
position.
So I mean, like it's tier 3, but that doesn't. It's still a top 10. And again, like it is to be understood two things, right? That the US and China, both of these countries have invested significantly more from governmental perspectives, from industry perspectives.
A more holistic approach to cyber usage or cyber propagation than we have. That's what they're saying in the paper, in the article.
They're not trying to ban Twitter every other week. They're not trying to ban Instagram every other week.
China banned everything.
They're not trying. Well, China is different. China has its own different thing altogether, right? In the sense that China banned everything once and it's done.
They built a faster, cheaper model of the same, and then they ban it. Yeah.
Well, China is different, right? The internet works differently in China in the sense that the way people use it is different, right? Like in China, WeChat, right? The equivalent of what we use for WhatsApp is everything. It doesn't matter whether you use an iPhone or you use an Android phone. Everything you do through WeChat in China. Right. So it's a different way of operations than how we kind of do this. Like all shopping happens through that.
Silvery, Amit is coming across as a Chinese spy. He knows too much. I'm getting an awful feeling about this whole thing. It's like he's been planted here. All right.
How? I thought I thought I'm being tougher on China than you are.
Yeah. I
Aren't I? I was.
I'm pro China for a little while, but then after some time I lose interest. It's just not worth the fight. It's like that. But I just when you talk about banning Chinese goods and all, I don't understand the correlation again after a
It's
point.
just, listen. This TikTok ban is just like I go on like every week. I have a conversation with somebody about it. Right?
Yeah.
How is India not? How do we not have TikTok yet? How is TikTok still banned in this country? TikTok is becoming more and more important as a global
Everywhere.
form of communication. Everybody is fucking using it. Important things are coming out on it, right? People are using it as the
TikTok, we missed the clock.
yeah. It's fucking ridiculous, right? I mean, like, if you're going to do a Great Firewall of India, then fucking do the Great Firewall of India, right? It would be stupid and it would destroy all kinds of value, but just do it.
Initially, we all thought it would be a suspension and it'll be lifted after a bit of emotional, behavior calming down, etc., etc. But nothing happened. It's just gone off. And China actually gets the worst from the government all the time in terms of the stand that we take, the rhetoric, if you listen to what they're saying. Let's move on from there. We've nearly reached the end of the show. Do we have one last question?
One last question. From one social media app to another, Ruben
That's
David
fine.
asks, how do you think, Amit, how do you think Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces are impacting podcasts?
I hate the lack of respect for me when they say Amit and then it goes into a app question like that. I just feel like a prejudice,
How do you think Clubhouse and Twitter
This
Spaces
is
are
why I
impacting
hold the
podcasts?
mask up. This is why my people fight back because of this kind of repression. Yeah, well, I've got a lot of calls from people saying, will you join Clubhouse? Will you join Clubhouse? So I still can't understand what it is exactly. So I said, let me figure this out and then I'll whatever. So it's good that you've got this question so you can clear the air for all of us, Amit, while I drink something strong.
Okay. No, I mean, like, I don't think it impacts. I think it's a tool. I think it's an interesting tool, but I think that it's the difference.
Has it grown as big as people say it's grown, or is that just a figment?
No, so I mean, like, it's a new version of doing things, right? It's a new way of doing things in some sense. Now, how are they impacting podcasts? I don't think they do because I think podcasts are created slightly differently. I think the form is somewhat different, and I think like one of the big differences is basically one of the key differences is podcasts. So Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces both are a little more impromptu, a little less planned, a little less kind of produced, if you will.
Still immature. So it reminds me of our podcast in a way. So we are Clubhouse before there was Clubhouse.
In some ways.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that it is different. The other place where there is this is that basically the way that you consume it, right? You have to consume Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces at the time it's occurring, right? Whereas a podcast can be listened to whenever you are free. So it's in some.
How do we make money on Clubhouse?
We don't make money on Clubhouse.
Well, why would we be
Not
on
yet.
it?
Like I'm sure there'll be ways to make money.
There'll be some monetization possibilities, but I don't think that they are. Wow, I just got called a minion by somebody.
A minion?
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Would that be a positive connotation
No,
or
it's
negative?
a negative. It's I have naive views for. I have naive views and shallow knowledge around TikTok,
What
Facebook,
are you
and Twitter.
talking about, man?
Yeah,
Like, I've
dude.
never heard
Apparently,
that
that's the
about
case.
you, man.
The fight has just begun. Ding, 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 ding. See, you are a Chinese spy. You are a
I
Chinese
am.
spy. It's
I
proven.
am.
Somebody's see
am.
through. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, but so I think Twitter Spaces are more important than Clubhouses in some ways. Clubhouse, I have a particular point of view on, which is not very strong. Clubhouse is built with a particular use case in mind, which is essentially that people want to talk in public without being on the record. Right. And that is the very narrow use case for Clubhouse. Twitter Spaces is more important because Twitter has a broader kind of audience base. And I think that there should be some interesting things there.
This is like drinking in the old days before mobile camera phones. You could say what you want and nobody could hold it back later because there's no recording of it.
Yes, that's exactly
it doesn't
it,
go to
right?
somebody's Insta. Oh, those are beautiful days. We made all kinds of comments. Like you would have got this attack that you've just got from somebody immediately calling you a minion. Now I think about a minion is like a chamcha sort of. I'm just trying to think what is the right translation? Like a chela of a spokesperson of the West or something, Western powers.
So I'm a brown minion.
Or
so
Chinese powers in this case.
So I don't know what a brown minion means, but I'm a brown minion apparently, right?
It's a racist connotation. I mean, this is huge. This is huge for me. This kind of insult is you've come a long way. I think you should take this as a step, to manhood. You're now a man, Amit. Let's hold up the cub. Hold up the cub. Oh, the entire Masai Mara. Oh, Simba! Oh, what is the name? I forget the names.
It was Simba, right? Yeah, it was Simba.
Was Simba, no? Yeah, symbolic that it should have been Simba. Very, very strange that you've touched this guy, or whoever, maybe female, in this slightly.
He has another comment. The same person has another comment. He says, "And my apologies. I was saying minion lightheartedly."
That's fine. I don't care. Listen, it's okay. I don't take it. I don't take it.
I thought you were getting a political enemy. Damn you!
Yeah, I
He's
know.
just
man.
one of us.
No.
He's just
I'm
a flippant
disappointed.
loudmouth who likes to make a few jokes. Damn it!
I'm
No, that's not.
disappointed. I thought I was finally getting trolled.
Yeah,
I thought it would
and I
be, it
thought
would
you
be
suddenly sounded
amazing.
like a Chinese spokesperson because after telling me something, you actually went on to praise, not praise, but support TikTok empire and in a way Chinese government, in a way against Indian government. So thought he was spot on to call you a minion if that was the perspective. But I put brown minion, huh? Brown minion
Yeah,
was
man.
I didn't get that one. What's the need for the racism there? That's a bit of a spin.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like it's like the brown sahib, right? I mean, like I'm guessing
Brown
that's
side,
the
yeah, I
idea
get it,
over
I get
here. I guess the
Actually,
idea
well,
is that.
it is funny.
Minions are yellow. But minions are yellow in color.
You racist
So it doesn't make any sense.
bastard. Silver, you're racist about a character they've just created in animation or something. I mean,
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
really leave race out of that, man.
The word minion existed before the animation was there.
Yeah, minions. Just the people who did your bidding are your minions. Like my family are all my minions. I do whatever I want, and they have to follow my bidding. They can't hear, so we can say all these things. If they could hear, you'd never see me again. It's like China. I'm gone. Jack Ma of podcast. Gaya. That's it. By the way, where is Jack Ma?
Jack Ma, I don't know. I haven't heard about him in a long time. But he's not the only one. Apparently, the top 3 billionaires in China are now facing issues, right?
The editor of that Hong Kong newspaper, the three of them disappeared on Friday, picked up by the police. We'll never see them again.
The Apple News or whatever that was.
Apple, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
I
three
mean, like,
billionaires, three of the, and you think
Three
they
of
become billionaires with the help of the government, the way it's structured initially.
so basically, what I read in like some newspaper somewhere is China doesn't want the Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates type figures to emerge in China.
They become bigger than the country, is it?
They want those figures to be governmental figures rather than them to be private enterprise figures. And so there is a
I think they also are getting celebrated by the West, and slowly their political, philosophy turns to a more liberal one.
it does become that, right? Because this listen, I mean, I know that this is a somewhat controversial point of view, but it's a point of view I've held for a long time. Free markets lead to free societies. Free markets lead to free societies. I believe that.
I have listened to Jack Ma on CNBC and a couple of other shows, and he seemed like a perfectly nice guy while talking. He didn't sound like some sort of zealot Chinese government official billionaire at any point. So I think he had already crossed towards a more humane and global. I think people also realize that nationality shouldn't define them after a point. When you
It doesn't.
make enough money, you realize it doesn't, and then they're able to look beyond that. Let's not have this conversation on the air. Let's call on PCO. Public call office. Okay, boys, enough for the day, no?
Yeah, I think we're good. We did. We're good.
We're good. All right. And to the brown minion gentlemen, we apologize. We thought you were a troller, but we are still to get our first troll. That's how shitty our show is. We haven't got a troller. Please troll us. Someone. Will Munawar Faruqi please call these detractors? Send us their cousins in Bombay. Somebody must be there. This is ridiculous. Amit, did you feel bad?
Well, I mean, I was just like,
Because it sounded personal?
I felt like I was attacked for a second, but then I was like, hey, you know what? I felt good about it at the end of it. I'm like, hey, that means you're actually paying attention to what I'm saying.
You know why I felt bad? I felt bad because whoever was trolling you thought only you should be trolled, because the other two are jokers and they have no consequence in society. So you don't even think about them. Okay, but your thought and logic has to be in some way looked at seriously. So for me, that distinction became clear. So I was very upset, but now I'm feeling better.
Kunal, the guy who did his apologizing. Listen, dude, no need to apologize. It's fine. Kunal, it's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
We're an open show. We believe in open societies and open show, including abuse. Not a problem.
Yeah. If I can dish it out, I have to be able to take it.
Yeah. And he wasn't. He was just being flippant. So what we should do is understand comedy. That's what we need to do. Okay. Sorry, Kunal. Our apologies. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Are we doing we're not clear what we're doing, right?
We're doing it at 6 p.m. though. Whatever we're doing at 6 p.m.
So we're doing a live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Let's tell everybody
that. That we know for sure. We're still not sure what the guest situation
because
is.
I'm having the COVID vaccine. So the government has given me the letter saying you can not do the show in the morning.
Yes.
And don't mess with the government. And I'm talking about Chinese government. I'm kidding. Okay, bye guys.
All right.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, host of the Empowering Series podcast on the IVM network. I happen to be a peak performance coach and leadership coach by profession, and I'm here to share with you productivity tools, life-altering techniques, and real-life hacks to help you achieve your maximum potential in everything you do, your relationships, professions, careers. So tune in every Monday to unleash your inner power. Be safe, be well, be empowered.
We live in an age of disruption, of immense change in every aspect of work, life, and business. But is the old way of doing things truly dead? And are we ever going to stop saying the new normal? Join me, Varun Dugirala, on Advertising is Dead every Tuesday as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, creators, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond to dig a little deeper into how we got here, what we're doing now, and where we're headed. You can catch all the episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.